Hi, everybody. Thank you for stopping by Living To Do's review of Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 9. Are You Going to Gaslight Me? That's the name of this episode. Before I get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So let's get started with the review, and let's start off with Ben and Morgan. Ben and Morgan, they had a little date. Their date was going to mermaid school to have mermaid lessons, which was really cute. They put on the bottom half, they have on a little mermaid outfit, and they get in a pool, and I guess they're swimming around. It looked like fun. And I have to say, Ben is a good sport. It's not really a guy thing, but he was a good sport about it. There, they asked each other a question: have you ever been in love? And Ben said he had not. Morgan said she had been in love, and she was in love in her last relationship. She loved the fact that her ex told her he would fight every single person for her, and that's the kind of thing she liked. That she expressed to Ben. When she said it, you could see how happy she was about it. And, the whole fighting thing, she just wants someone to fight for her. I mean, literally, I guess. I mean, I know she's a fighter and threatened. I don't know if really threatened, but she told Ben how she could put him down. She has all these techniques or whatnot. But she really wants a man to step up and fight for her. That shows her love. Ben, they got together, and he apologized to her. He believes that he was putting his insecurities on her. And when he was asking about the finance and the family, he's always felt like he has never been enough. And so I guess he feels like, I don't know, he feels like he's overcompensating, maybe with kindness, because one thing he did say, he said that he's trying to get his dad's attention and affection, and since he got no satisfaction from his dad, he always felt that he wasn't enough. He wasn't enough, and that's why his dad didn't love him. He had issues at school with other people, he said later. But he was apologizing to Morgan. And you know what? Maybe if you dig deep, in some way, he was projecting his insecurities onto her. But I still think she's making the biggest deal out of nothing about him talking about not actually having a degree. I guess maybe as she said earlier, to the MAFS production. But he found a way, or I don't know, it seems like she turned this on to him like it's his fault. And I really think you're the one who lied, Morgan. You should just forget about this. You guys talk about it and put it past you is what you should do, and stop making it bigger than what it was. But if he had to dig deeper on the subject, perhaps he was putting his insecurities on her, but she's still not showing any fault in this issue, and she's the biggest one at fault. And so enough of that. But Morgan loved the way he verbalized his emotions and perspective, and you could see it on her face. She started to look at him differently, like she was connecting with him, and that was happy to see. And later he had a date. I guess the date with the mermaid was her idea, and the date he had was to grill Korean barbecue in the living room. And she loved that when she came home from working all day. He had it ready. It was a little grill that they put in their living room with a little bit of meat on it, and she was just eating it up. And he had a little deeper conversation about him and his family being poor and moving to neighborhoods, and being the only Asian child. He got teased a lot, he said, and he thought he would combat the racism with kindness. And that's how, I can see Ben doing that always having the smile, always having something nice to say, always going the extra mile for someone just to be on their good side. Always having to give of yourself is exhausting like that. Believe me, I know. But that was it for Ben and Morgan at this point. Let's see who we have next. Okay, the next couple is Lindy and Miguel. Lindy and Miguel, we first see Miguel. He has his friend over, Steve, that was at the party, the costume party. And he's having a conversation outside, the two of them are, and he's discussing Lindy. And he's put off by Lindy because when Lindy, at the party, Lindy spoke to Steve and another lady, and they were talking about, Lindy was talking about Miguel putting her on his health care. And I guess the conversation got a little too deep, a little too quick, a little too soon. And it just rubbed Steve the wrong way. So he wanted to bring it up to his friend Miguel. I think he thinks it's a red flag, and he tells this to Miguel, and he wants to know if Miguel's red flag detector has been turned off. So basically he's saying, heads up, buddy, something he sees in her that he's not liking, and he wants to make sure that Miguel has his eyes and ears open when it comes to Lindy. I really love Lindy and Miguel's relationship so far. They seem to have good conversation. A lot of things didn't go on for them this episode. They had a conversation about her cat, and he thinks that the cat hates him. She says the cat is scared of him, and Miguel says the fear is mutual. So I want to see some interactions with Miguel and this cat. They do go deeper and talk about their relationship, and they bring up the question, what does it take for you to fall in love? And they agree it will be time. Also, Lindy elaborates, and she wants to see the good and the bad in a person. She wants to see their good side and their bad side. Now, Miguel, from what he says, he doesn't want you to display bad behavior around him, or he is going to go. So, I can kind of see both parts. Because you need to see a person. People are not just one-dimensional. You want to see several sides. They always say, be with someone for a season before you think about marrying them or committing to them. And so you do see people different sides. You see how they act, at Christmas or whatnot. You see how they act with children. You see how they act when they're disappointed, when they get really bad news, when there's a tragedy. You want to see all those sides. Is what she's saying, and I agree with her. And with Mitch, only thing I agree with is you just don't want to see bad behavior, especially too soon, or you don't want to ever see them mistreat a child, things like that type of bad behavior. But if someone gets upset and they cry over something, or they have an outburst, you really should control and regulate your emotions. But there's going to be a time or something where something is said, and I just don't think there is a way the way Miguel tells it, he just doesn't have any room for grace. And he says that Lindy, on the other hand, has an infinite pull to give grace. Yeah, I'm not that way. I just think if you keep doing it, people walk all over you. You do got to set up your boundaries. Another question they posed was, how do you know if someone is right for you? And I don't think this question was really answered between the two, but Lindy basically says that, you have to work at marriage. And that was basically it for these two at this episode. I'm sure we're going to see more in the later episodes. I see her blowing up and crying about something. I don't see how Miguel runs to console her, so maybe she's mad at him. It's not a situation. But that's it for them. Let's go on to the next couple. Okay, the next couple is going to be Kristen and Mitch. When we first see Kristen and Mitch, we actually see Kristen's dog, Luna, humping her bed. She's really going at it there. I don't know why production Had to show us that. But anyway, um, Mitch and Kristen are talking. They're in the kitchen. Mitch is he's got a promotion at his job, which is cool, and he has to train somebody else. Um, Kristen talks about some of the things she wants to do. She has her real estate license, and she wants to flip houses. And I think she tried to include Mitch in her future endeavors by telling him she wants the houses to be, um, she wants it, energy efficient. She wants the houses to be. And Mitch, he just kind of blew it off and was kind of goofing around. Um, he's at first, and she kind of got serious, and he says, well, I'm just not really into gentrifying the neighborhoods and pushing poor people out. So he just saw it a different way. I guess when you flip the houses, it's worth more. Poor people makes it even harder for them to obtain, home ownership. Um, they had, at one point, they were talking about life in marriage, and Kristen thinks life is better to be married than to be single. And now Mitch can see that as well. I guess, 2 months prior to this, or 6 months prior to this, I don't think he thought that. He probably thought he would always be alone. He's never really been with anybody. But now that he's with her and he is getting a lot of sex, life is different, and it's, better than he ever thought it could be. Um, and Kristen thinks an ideal marriage is close to the marriage that she has now with Mitch. Oh, she has to. You need to dream higher and be. This is not ideal. This is not a perfect marriage. I don't see it as being perfect when you're not even being yourself in it. Um, Mitch was just explaining that in the house situation, he just has compassion for people with much less than him. He kind of does. They do go going to karaoke singing, and that's really Kristen's thing, and Mitch does it, and he does it well. He's dancing around and just letting go of himself, and he also did some freestyle rapping as a rapper, as a 40-year-old man, beach guy. He did an okay job, I thought. He was cute. He let go of himself. Um, he allowed himself to have fun, and yeah, I could see that. That's different. He was just being a little free. Good for him. At the karaoke place, they talked more about house flipping, and he tells Kristen that he thinks it's predatory. And Kristen makes this face like she is, because she doesn't feel like she's being that way at all. Um, and she tells what she wants is she wants the same respect that she has given him in his profession. He's an environmentalist. He doesn't believe in all this plastic use. She's gone out of her way, spent more money than she normally does on things that are not worth the money she spent on them. Just to get a material that he wouldn't object to. So she has gone out of her way to please him, and it seems like he doesn't do that for her at all. She has to conform to his idea what life should be, or there's going to be hell to pay, or looks, or he just he can't get himself around the idea to using, a certain cup that's made out of a certain material. Things just have to be his way or no way. They went on a little, actually, during this conversation, he thinks that she's being a little inauthentic. Because of her flipping houses, her views, and she is surprised by this, that she's inauthentic. And she asked him, "Are you gaslighting me?" I mean, she's asked, and she didn't say it to him, or we didn't see her say this to him, but she did say that he needs to bring the facts and show her how she's being inauthentic, or basically shut up. If you don't have nothing to back this up, then don't say that. They go, I think this is a date that she planned, and I guess he planned karaoke, and she planned out going to the beach, doing a beach cleanup and a picnic. That's what every girl wants. She wants to spend time with her man, especially a new man you're basically dating, and going to beach cleanup. But that's the thing that he loves to do. So she plans that. And she's doing all this stuff, and she tells him that don't take her for granted, don't take her value for granted. He says he's grateful for her, but she's feeling unappreciated. So I think what he needs to do is show her she's not unappreciated. She's a full person with feelings, ideas, dreams, passion, and it's not going to be in alignment with his, since he's so way off the grid there, that he needs to meet her halfway. Mitch is a complicated man. I don't fully understand him. He says he feels compassion for people with less than him, but he can blow up at people in a restaurant, the stylist grooming his beard. I just don't get him. He's complicated. I don't know. Okay, on to the next couple. Let's see who that is. Okay, the next couple is Justin and Alexis. And they have a question that they're posing, and Alexis is asking it to Justin. Have you ever been in love before? And Justin said he thought so, but not really. It was when he was 20, the girl that he was with when he was 20. And in fact, that's who he lost his virginity to. He was a 20-year-old man, and Alexis thinks he's a late bloomer. And he was just a yes man to this girl because, he got friendship with benefits, and he was just doing whatever to please her, to stay on her good side. So he was a yes ma'am, and I think he still is. She asked about, relationships with family, and he was a people pleaser, and his father was in and out of his life, and he would try to do better to, get his father's attention, to keep him around. That's so sad. I know that happens to so many people. These fathers out here don't know how you're really affecting your kids by the inconsistency of your presence in their life. Alexis felt that. She felt alone when they were in the candy store. She brought this up to him. She has now trust issues, and she wants things to be or feel like things were like when they were in their honeymoon. I guess she trusted him at that point. She felt trust and felt safe with him, and she doesn't have those feelings anymore. She can't open up about if she loves her or how much she loves him at this time, because she feels uncomfortable. So I'm thinking that maybe there is love, because she says when she loves, it's forever. It doesn't go away. And she doesn't want to open up to what level she is in love with him. They talk about, they go on a beach picnic, and great husbands. She says, I guess, what makes a great husband? And he's answering, a great husband, he's a great listener, and he's supportive. And in marriage, there's no easy way out. That's how it's different than just a regular girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. Justin asked if the situation with the dog had happened and they weren't married, they were just dating, would she stick around? And she said probably not. But since she's in a marriage, you can't run away easy. She's noticing that now that she's in it, in a marriage, you got to put in more effort. She's seeing different things in a marriage, because more than likely she would have run off by now and not been able to see the things that she's seeing, I guess, resolving conflict with another person in a relationship. So in that aspect, I guess she's growing. too much didn't happen with them. Something did happen in a group setting, but I will wait until after I get to the last couple. Okay, the last couple is Sasha and Nate. They're in the pool. They're talking about falling in love and where they are on the love spectrum. And Nate gives Sasha a 4 out of 10 in their relationship. This is surprising to Sasha because she's giving the relationship an 8. Sasha wants more commitment. She wants to commit and submit. She wants a traditional relationship, so I cannot fault her for that. And so what they have given her is Nate. Nate wants to be married one time, so he's going slow. I don't know if that's the real reason why Nate is going slow. I actually think the man is scamming her. So he's just finding his angle, and that's why he's taking his time, in my opinion. Later, they talk about what Pastor Cal spoke to them about, which was measurable goals. And, basically, Sasha wants to be loved. She wants to be loved by Nate, but Nate wants more time. They talk about, I guess Nate is talking about his intentions. She wants to know where he is with commitment, love. She wants something from him. He says because love is a choice, and so she's asking what he is choosing to do, and he's choosing, he says, to be married to her. Because she wants more than that. They do talk about kids. It's just talk. She just needs something from him, and he's not giving it to her, but he's saying that she is taking his intentions the wrong way, which is manipulation. Okay, it doesn't really make sense to me, because I think him saying this is his way of trying to manipulate her, because she's just trying to have a deeper conversation. She's not being irrational. She's not being upset. She's not being loud. They're cooking right now, so there's an activity going on, and during this activity, she's just talking. But he feels, I guess, he's being put up against a wall or something, and he doesn't seem to have the answers that she wants, and that he is trying. Having kids, he says, it shows him, it's a gesture, he says. I couldn't believe having kids is a gesture. He says that's a gesture showing, I guess, that he wants a commitment with her. I still think he is working her on some way, some angle. And I think when he said that she was trying to manipulate him, I didn't see that at all. I really think that was his way to try to manipulate her. I just don't see what's wrong with trying to have a deeper a conversation about their relationship. That's just a little off to me. They took a cooking class together, and he was in their cooking class. He thought they were talking about their previous conversation, and that he thought she was playing games with him. Oh, really? Because in playing devil's advocate too long, in his eyes, you just become a pain. I gotta get that, but I don't think she was. I don't think she was playing devil's advocate, and she wasn't. If she was, it wasn't long. I just think it was a little sensitive subject for him. Sasha, knowing that she's a 4 in their relationship, his love towards her is just a 4. And the way she is, the way she even keeps her house, not a thing out of place. She's probably always succeeded. I can't think of the word right now, but she always has to be number 1. She has to have all the A's. I can just see that. She has to be a 10. She needs a pathway to his heart, what she needs to do to be perfect in his eyes, or Miss Perfect. That part, I feel for Sasha. You're not always going to be perfect, and you should slow down in the relationship, especially if you think like that. If somebody or your therapist knows that's what you're thinking, they should have you stop, take a look at everything, reevaluate yourself. You're never going to be a 10, and you're never going to have that perfect person. So in those ways, I think Stasha needs a little help. She needs a little therapy assistance because, she's OCD, people like that. I think a therapist who she respects, who's a good therapist, can make her see what she's doing to herself, and she needs to stop that. No matter if she's with Nate or anybody else. Okay, the last one of the last scenes is a group scene, and I guess all the couples are meeting on the rooftop, and this is where all the guys are supposed to come out in the same shirt that their wives bought them. So the shirts, the guys will all be looking alike. So when Mitch comes down, we see that he is in the shirt that he did not want to wear, but he's in it after all. And Kristen had to come clean that she had to tell him that it was a little joke that they were doing, all the wives were doing, to have the guys in the same shirt. I still don't know why they were doing that, but for him to put it on, it just took that much. And he was so hard-headed that even he said he would have it on for a few minutes, for a little while, and he changed his shirt. And he brought another shirt that he could go somewhere and change it. And he walked back over to his wife, Kristen, and he passes Alexis, and she says, "That's a better option." I mean, she's just so forward. One reason I can't stand her. He doesn't want anyone to force him to do anything. He wants to wear what he wants to do. I guess, he's his own man, and it wasn't the worst shirt. I mean, I think if it didn't look nice on him, or if it was a color he didn't wear, maybe you could put up a fuss. But it was okay to wear, in my point of view. There's some other things that people try to force me to wear. I'm not going to do it, but other than it was like a sailor shirt. But he's into the ocean. I didn't understand what the big deal was. They were going to meet with a clinical psychologist. She's new this season. Dr. Pia is how she's to be addressed. They're doing like a group therapy session outside, and talk about emotions and secondary emotions. These are things that you don't learn in school. And we should. There's a lot of things that school is not providing. They're wasting a lot of time on nothing in school a lot of times. And there's things that they can be working on to help people make it in the real world. And emotions is something, mental health. I think we're going to start seeing this now in schools because it's such a big issue. And I think it definitely is needed. So they're going to be talking about that. And she's asking Justin and Alexis as a couple about their marriage. And they're not understanding one another. Justin starts talking. He doesn't mind talking in public and whatnot. But when he was talking about their relationships and whatnot, he seemed like he was talking in circles and contradicting himself, and he kind of knew that, and he said so himself. He says, "I may be contradicting myself, trying to explain his wants, his likes, the things, his perspective and whatnot." And all along, Alexis is shaking her head, and she calls him out on it. And I think he was embarrassed. And I think, sometimes when people get to talk and they're talking in circles, it's like they just can't stop. And I think what other people do that they're talking to, they kind of just shake their head to be kind, shake their head in agreement, and so the person doesn't feel weird. And then sometimes people take over the conversation, explain this person's point of view because they couldn't get it out themselves. And then other people, they'll change the subject. You know what I mean? And that wasn't happening, and I guess it shouldn't happen. They need to get to the bottom of this, and if he has to be embarrassed, unfortunately, he's going to have to be embarrassed because she tells him she needs to know him. She needs to know him, to help her, to help us. And everybody there was like in an agreement. They was like shaking their head like, oh, that's a good one. That's a word. That's, that was a very, very intelligent thing to say. And I have to give it to Alexis. I will always give her credit when she is due credit. And it seems like she's been in counseling or has a good sense of herself, because that was good. You need to know someone to understand them and to walk with them. So I agree with her there. The therapist asked Mitch and Kristen about their relationship, and she was just astonished at his behavior about the shirt. And he explained he doesn't want anything. He's true to himself. He's an environmentalist. He doesn't want to put on things that he doesn't want. He lives his life a certain way, and he doesn't compromise. And Kristen feels like she's losing herself in this relationship. She definitely is. She can't be herself. This is truly a struggle, love, because she thinks this is an ideal relationship with this man, or close to ideal, how she sees it in her head. And he is not allowing her to be her. So he can't love her for her. So she's going to feel empty. It's a struggle, love. Oh my goodness. And I think she's smart enough to see it after a while, or she's smart enough to do something about it. Don't keep herself in that type of situation. That's not good for you. So the therapist points at Morgan and Ben, what they can do to strengthen their relationship. And Morgan says she wants to get compliments, and Ben says, I did compliment you, but he told her basically her clothes are real dip or drip or something, that old that slang talk or whatnot. And Morgan, even though she acts like such a tomboy, she wants to be romanced. She wants to be told she looks beautiful, she looks nice. She wants to be talked to like that, not the hip hop jargon lingo. She doesn't want that. And people are just not who you think they are. I just never thought that would mean so much to her, but we're getting to know Morgan. Okay, so the therapist asked Lindy and Miguel about their relationship, and Lindy says again that she wants him to see the other side of herself. I don't know what is this other side that she has that she needs to display to somebody. I mean, is it silly, or what is it? I want to see it, what she's really talking about. Is it so way out there? How different are you going to be? Lastly, the therapist asked Nate and Sasha how their relationship was going, and Sasha said she feels alone. She feels lonely. She feels abandoned. She feels isolated. She feels sad, and which is so sad to hear. And she's telling this to the group, and Nate tells the therapist that he will be going into therapy. And I honestly think he was trying to get points with the therapist, a psychologist who could probably read you real quick. And it's just, I don't trust him. And I think he was just trying to get over on the therapist. I mean, that's what the first thing you're going to shoot out, because so she can't see another side of you, or she will soften any pre maybe idea about you, or I just think he's just trying to play everybody, and I don't trust him. So when he opens his mouth, I look a little harder, little deeper on him, because I'm not showing what effort he's really doing, and I really still think he's playing everyone. Now Sasha feels disappointed, and she's crying there at the group therapy out there on the terrace, and I feel really sorry for Sasha. It was the relationship got hot and heavy, and he's not finding his way to love to her. And I think it shows, and I guess she's going to start to feel it. And he needs to step up in some way if he really wants this with her. After the group, we do have a scene with Nate and Sasha again. And Nate is mad at Sasha for not seeing his efforts. And they talked about actionable effort, and he believes that therapy is his actionable effort. He wants her to believe in him, or this relationship won't work. But what I think, and what he needs to do and hasn't done, is reassure her in some way. I don't see any effort in reassurance. And I think that can soften her up a little bit. Maybe just make her not feel panicky or upset or disappointed. Just to be soft with her and have an emotional connection. That doesn't need to be love, but something for her to go on, to feel like she's not in this relationship all by herself. And when he does kind of get in the emotional realm of things, it feels like an attack, because he lashes out at her, and his emotions came out, and her reaction to it was she said it was scary to her, and it is. That's what I guess therapy is going to do for him. You have an emotion, don't act out. Speak calmly about what you are currently feeling. And he's missing the boat on that. And which is really sad. And the fact that he says that Stasha's not believing in him anymore. Believing in what? What have you done for her to believe in? You got to give her something. And that was it for them. And the last bit, we see Ben and Morgan. Things are not good for them. We're going to see more of that next episode. Like a blow up or something must have happened. But that was it for now. A lot of emotions, a lot of, things you would work with a therapist, because they're trying to get deeper, an emotional connection. And I like this episode for that. No shenanigans. And I appreciate that there were no shenanigans. But that is it for now. Please drop a like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And I thank you in advance. That is it. I'll be back next week. I gotta go because I got living to do. Bye.